Our esteemed guests of honor, distinguished guests, students, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you all. Thank you for joining us this evening as we are all gathered here to commemorate the 550th birth anniversary of Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji, jointly organized by Embassy of India, Muscat and Gurudwara Prabndhak Committee Oman. Today's event is all about the life and teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and we are fortunate to have with us two speakers who have come all the way from India to share their views on Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji. I request Ambassador to welcome our esteemed guests of honor and speakers for this evening with a bouquet of flowers. Mr. Ahmed Khamis Masood Al-Bahri, Director, Ministry of Awqaf and Religious Affairs. Dr. Jaswinder Singh, and Dr. Harpreet Kaur, Professor Barry Wynn, Vice Chancellor of Sohar University, he has not yet arrived. And lastly, Professor Dr. S.L. Gupta, Dean of Waljad College, Muscat. In line with our Indian tradition, we will start our event with lighting of lamp. For lighting of lamp, I request Mr. Ahmed Khamis Masood Al-Bahri, Director, Ministry of Religious Affairs, and Shri Manu Mahavar, Ambassador of India to the Sultanate of Oman, to the stage. I request our speakers, Dr. Jaswinder Singh and Dr. Harpreet Kaur, and our guest of honor, Professor S.L. Gupta, Dean of Waljad College, and Mr. Karanjit Singh Matharu, Convener of Punjabi Wing of Indian Social Club, to the dais. Thank you. I request Ambassador to remain on stage and Ms. Sangeeta to escort our guests to their seats. I now invite Ambassador Shri Manu Mahavar to present his welcome remarks.
Mr. Ahmed Khamis Masood Al-Bahri, Director, Minister of Awqaf and Religious Affairs, representing the Honorable Minister. Dr. Jaswinder Singh, Principal, Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College. Dr. Harpreet Kaur, Principal, Mata Sundari College for Women. Professor S.L. Gupta, Dean of Waljad College of Applied Sciences. Mr. Karanjit Singh Matharu, convener of Indian Social Club Punjabi Wing, distinguished guests, friends, students. Good evening. I extend a very warm welcome to you all at the Indian Embassy for talks on life and teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. This event, as we just heard, is being organized as part of commemoration of the 550th birth anniversary of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. This is being organized by the Embassy in association with Punjabi Wing of Indian Social Club and Gurudwara Prabndhak Committee of Oman. I extend a very warm welcome to our two distinguished speakers for this evening, Dr. Jaswinder Singh and Dr. Harpreet Kaur, who have come from Delhi to talk to us about the life and teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. We are eagerly looking forward to your talks, sir and ma'am. And I am happy that a number of students have joined us today, and I am sure they will benefit immensely from listening to our distinguished speakers. Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the first Sikh Guru and founder of Sikhism, is a revered religious and spiritual icon, not only in India but around the world. He had travelled far and wide, teaching people the message of one God who dwells in every one of his creations. He set up a unique spiritual, social and political platform based on equality, fraternal love, goodness and virtue. His teachings of love, peace, equality and brotherhood have eternal value and relevance for all of us, regardless of the faith followed or practiced. The Indian Embassy in Muscat has been organizing a series of events and activities as part of India's year-long commemoration of the 550th birth anniversary of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and we have been organizing these activities, events in association with the Punjabi Wing of the Indian Social Club and Gurudwara Prabndhak Committee. We have already organized screening of films on life and messages of Guru Nanak, and we have cultural events and competitions, essay, quiz, painting competitions planned for the coming months. I take this opportunity to thank His Majesty Sultan Qaboos and the government and friendly people of Oman for accepting the Indian community in Oman with warm hospitality. Under the benevolent leadership of His Majesty, the Indian community has been a partner in Oman's growth and development, and its members being able to exercise their diverse socio-cultural and religious practices in Oman. On behalf of the Indian community in Oman, I thank the leadership of Oman, and in particular His Excellency Sheikh Abdullah bin Muhammad Al Salmi, Minister of Religious Affairs, for the support extended to the Indian community and for allowing two Gurudwaras, two temples, a church and a crematorium to function smoothly. We look forward to your continued support. I once again thank you all for joining us today, and I welcome our speakers once again. Wish you all an enjoyable and productive and a learned evening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This evening, we have two speakers who will share their views on Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji. I now call upon Mr. Karanjit Matharu to introduce our speakers.
Your Excellency, Shri Manu Mahavarji, Ambassador of India to the Sultanate of Oman, Sheikh Ahmad Khamis Masood Al-Bahri, Director, Ministry of Awqaf and Religious Affairs, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh, Salam, Namaskar. On behalf of Punjabi Wing of Indian Social Club and Gurudwara Management Committee, I welcome all of you to today's talk show on life and teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. I welcome our today's guest speakers, Dr. Jaswinder Singh Ji, Principal, Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, University of Delhi, He is director of Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, established under Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission on Teacher and Training, 2016, by the Ministry of Human Resources Development, Government of India, at Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, University of Delhi. He is Executive Director of Center for E-Learning, established 2014 under the UGC EPG Pathshala project to develop e-content for postgraduate courses in economics, commerce, business economics, psychology, chemistry, and forensic science at Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, University of Delhi. He is PhD, MPhil, has 34 years of teaching experience. He has wrote many books, and two of books I named Guru Granth and Panth, and 6 in Delhi. Our second speaker, Dr. Harpreet Kaur Ji, Principal, Mata Sundari College for Women, University of Delhi, named after Mata Sundari Ji, Guru Mahal of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, who is known as Mother of the Khalsa Panth. Previously, she was Vice Principal of the Shri Guru Gobind Singh College of Commerce, University of Delhi. She has, to her credit, 22 books, 8 books, chapters, 24 research papers in national and 5 in international journals, 21 books, reviews, and many newspapers articles. She has presented at World Punjabi Conference 2017 held at Brampton, Canada, and at national seminars on Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Shri Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and Baba Banda Singh Bahadur Ji, organized by International Center for Sikh Studies at Mata Sundari College for Women. She is associated with many literary bodies, including International Center for Sikh Studies and by Veer Singh Sahitya Sadan. Ladies and gentlemen, this year we are celebrating 550th birth anniversary of Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji with series of events like talk show today, quiz competition, essay writing for school children, painting exhibition, culture program, etc. Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji born 550 years ago in village Talwandi, now called Nankana Sahib in Pakistan. Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, God is one. I am neither Hindu nor Muslim. I am a follower of God. In Sikhism, the God is omnipresent, shapeless, timeless, and sightless. Nirankar, Akar, Alakh. Guru Nanak Dev Ji explained one thing very clearly, that there is only one who gives to everyone, and we should not forget to him. Guru Nanak Dev Ji gave a message, Hukam Rajai Chalna, Nanak Likhya Naal, means that everything happens by God's grace. So rest assured that God knows better what is right or wrong for us. We should therefore accept His decisions without any grudge or question. Sarbat da Bala, goodwill for all. Guru Nanak Dev Ji passed the message of universal brotherhood. He said the religion is not mere consistence of words, but actually looks all men and women equally. Universal brotherhood is a strong theme in Gurbani written by Guru Nanak Dev Ji. In our prayer, we say these lines towards the end of our daily prayer. Nanak Naam Chaddi Kala Tere Pane Sarbat da Pala, means Nanak asks for Naam, name of God, with which comes well-being, happiness, and positive spirit, and with your blessings, Lord, may everyone in the world prosper and be in peace. Guruji gave us 3 principles. 1. Shako, sharing with others, helping those with less who are in need. Kirt karo, earning, making and living honestly without any exploitation or fraud. Naam Japna, chanting the holy name and thus remembering God at all times. Guru Nanak Dev Ji was strongly against all artificially created divisions and all discriminations both in the word and deed. He said that the caste of a person is based on what he does. His idea of a caste-free society transpired also in his concept of Sangat and Pangat. In this way, he showed the path of truth and enlightenment. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize if I said anything wrong. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Ladies and gentlemen, I invite Dr. Jaswinder Singh, Principal of Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, University of Delhi, to share his views.
His Excellency Manu Mahawar, the Ambassador of India in Oman, the directors from representing the government of Oman. I may not be pronouncing the name properly, so I would refrain from doing that. Sardar Karanjit Singh Ji, who is the business entrepreneur here and organizer of this event in a certain sense. Shri Dr. S.L. Gupta Ji, who was our colleague in University of Delhi few years back, but now he is serving here the community in Oman. My colleague Dr. Harpreet, and all the distinguished guests who are gathered here today. First of all, let me express my pleasure and gratefulness. Pleasure because I have been invited to share my views on my understanding about Guru Nanak. Even though I'm not a scholar in the Sikh theology, but Guru Nanak's philosophy is too large to conclude in a few minutes. But I will touch upon few aspects. And I'm grateful to the embassy here because this is how 550th birth anniversary of Guru Nanak Sahib should be celebrated. As a community, we celebrate in Gurudwaras, we celebrate in our personal functions, but I think his message should go across the world. And this message, I think this is the most opportune time when we are, celebrating his 550th birth year. I think the message should be shared with the world community at large so that the thoughts, the basic principles of life which Guru Nanak propagated should be known, and perhaps they may help us in resolving some of the international conflicts that we are facing in various forms. Guru Nanak Sahib, was born 550 years ago, 5 centuries. This is a very small period, the blink of an eye, if we look at the history of mankind in that respect. And we find that in Delhi, because most of you are familiar with our ancestral and cultural heritage, and we find that the Lodi tombs are still there in Lodi Garden. And Lodi dynasty was ruling when Guru Nanak Sahib was born. Qutb Minar was there 200 years ago when Guru Nanak Sahib was born. And we also find that Babur came during his lifetime. And Humayun was struggling to save his ruling, to save his empire when Guru Nanak Sahib passed away. And Guru Nanak Sahib is not an ancient person, an ancient philosopher as normally it is thought. He is very much recent, because around that time we find that Christopher Columbus set out to find India, but he searched the New World. Vasco da Gama discovered the route to India in 1498. And we also find that some of the best universities, like the Oxford University, the Glasgow University, and some other universities were established during this time. And so therefore, ironically, the word which presumes Nanak to be an ancient scholar is something wrong. So I would beseech the audience that Guru Nanak was born in the recent time, and also, we find that Guru Nanak's messages has tremendous relevance as far as Guru Nanak's philosophy is concerned. Then the question comes, how do we introduce Nanak? There are various sources about the life of Guru Nanak. Bhai Gurdas, he was the first person, first original source who has written about Guru Nanak. Satguru Nanak Pragatya Miti Tum Jak Chana. That means when Guru Nanak Sahib appeared on the scene, this world which was full of superstitions, he provided an opportunity for these superstitions to go. And we find, later on, in the subsequent years, some Janamsakhis were also written, which of course we mentioned and we refer to when we describe the life of Guru Nanak Sahib. But then, there are some contradictions also, which as a scholar we are aware, and I'm sure the audience is also aware of some of the contradictions in this. Then the question is, how do we know Guru Nanak Sahib? I think, to my perception, Guru Nanak Sahib can best be understood through his works, through his Bani. He composed close to 1,000 hymns which are originally instituted in Guru Granth Sahib. And that describe his entire view, his entire vision. And, these are contained in the different parts of Guru Granth Sahib. Jipji Sahib, with which the Guru Granth Sahib starts, Asa Diwar, and then Barama, and then, and these hymns are composed using the best classical musical traditions of India. So he had a great knowledge about the musical traditions of India also. So in that sense, Guru Nanak Sahib was a poet par excellence. Guru Nanak Sahib was a philosopher because he tried to reform the system from within. Guru Nanak Sahib was a magician because he composed his Bani, he composed his hymns on classical musical traditions. And we find that he is a great visionary and also a great spiritual master in that sense. Since I am not again an expert, I only read Guru Nanak Bani, so I would be concentrating on very few basic principles which I think which everybody should understand. And the first and the foremost principle of Guru Nanak's philosophy is the concept of supreme reality, that is God. And this is incorporated in Mool Mantra, which is the first sanja of Japji Sahib, which is instituted in Guru Granth Sahib. So we begin with, Guru Nanak Sahib explains this concept of sublime reality, and that is, there is one God, and true is His name. He is all-pervading creator, fearless and without any enemy, timeless, without birth and self-existence. He can be realized only through the God's bliss or God's grace, Guru Prasad. So these are the sublime essentials which can motivate anyone to attain the enlightenment. This Mool Mantra itself contains so much about the God, about the supreme reality, that one can, by reciting this, by observing this, one can attain the enlightenment. That is what Ambassador Sahib was also mentioning in his introductory remarks. As his message of unbounded love, compassion, humanism, and active concern for the mankind arises from this concept. He refers himself as the God's messenger, and he tells in so many words to Pai Lalu, the God's words come to me, so I speak, O Lalu. So this is how he explains the concept of God and the concept of supreme reality. And the second cardinal principle which Guru Nanak Sahib explained of the supreme reality is that the Creator himself has created this universe. And he has created all existence and all creations. God by his will has created the world, and God in his world will controls it. Hukme andar sabko, bahar hukum na koi. And the sublime reality is that human mind, our knowledge is finite, whereas this supreme, sublime reality is infinite. So we can conceptualize God only to the extent we know. The science and other theory which has tried to explain the reality, the existence of nature, has limited knowledge. We have finite knowledge, whereas the God's creation are infinite. Patala patal, lak agasa agas. So that means our knowledge is only limited, and we know that subsequently, earlier it was thought that there is only one galaxy. Now there is a perception that there may be thousands and thousands of galaxies. There may be thousands and thousands of suns and stars. There may be thousands and thousands of, as the human knowledge will explain, we will come closer to that. So that is his vision about the God. That is his vision about the Creator who has created this nature. And God is all pervasive in them. And this creation is not a dream, it is a reality. It changes, it decays, it dies, it rejuvenates, it recreates, and it sustains. And the sustainable force is none other than the God himself. That is the concept of Guru Nanak. So you see, spiritual evolution of the soul is possible while enjoying his bountiness, while enjoying his creation, and not by detaching from this. And he mentions that we don't have to wait to go to heavens, to realize God. The God is all pervasive. It is before us. It lives with humans. So therefore, he is building up the compassion for humanity, that God is there. We are creations of God, and the God, our soul, is a part of that supreme soul. And therefore, in that sense, we respect, we resolve, and we help each other in a very, very significant way. And man can achieve the moksha, the liberation, while being in nature, not by going to, the snowy mountains or, to the high hills. And how does one attain this salvation? And it is through the good deeds, it is through compassion, it is through the service to the society. That is what Guru Nanak Sahib says. So it is his grace through which we shall learn Guru Nanak's philosophy of salvation. That we don't have to, detach ourselves. And this, we find that there is a spirit of affirmation in the sense that if we want to attain salvation, we have to remain in this world. We need not aspire for something beyond our death. And this is, I think, again, he goes further that how we can achieve love, how we can achieve compassion, and it is through the removal of impurities in our mind. And what are these impurities? And impurities in our thought process, and by improvement in these impurities, we should try to improve the conditions of other human beings. And this is well established, in his composition on Siddh Gosht. We know that he had a huge dialogue with the yogis and the Siddhas when he visited Sumer Hills, and they asked him, Nanak, how is the world? And he tells them, what word are you talking about? What word are you asking about? All the good people have come to the hills. So how is it possible that if all the good people are here on the hills, what would be the condition of this world? So he exhorts them to come back to the households. Householder, while being in the household, while living in the impurities, while making an attempt to improve those impurities, one can attain salvation. Now you see, the lotus flower, it sprouts and it develops in mud, but it looks so beautiful. It remains totally untouched. And another example, the duck, it swims against the current, but it remains unaffected. So one should not run away from the impurities. One should not run away from the responsibilities of the world. While being in the world, Nanak says, you should improve the conditions of the human beings through service, through compassion, and through other means that we can have, that we have at our disposal. So you see, this is one where he I'm not deliberately quoting those dialogues with the Siddh Ghosh, but Siddhas, but there are a number of such examples. So you see, the righteous, if you are righteous, like Kamal, if you are righteous, you can live in impurities and still try to remove those impurities while being there. That is his message. He rejects the idea of formalism and hypocrisies. I will beg a pardon if I am offending anybody, but then he criticized the priestly class which was holding the general populace from attaining salvation. Our own, we know that the priestly class in that society at that time was making the people superstitious on one side, and on the other side we find that there were many atrocities on the innocent. So this way you cannot, Guru Nanak Sahib says, you cannot attain salvation like this, but you have to find a solution for this. And coming further, his purpose in these dialogues and in various hymns that he composed, and he visited the different directions. He visited almost the entire great India, and also he visited many other places where he engaged with the people, and it was not that he was visiting like a tourist. He was visiting with the purpose to bring about improvement in the areas wherever he visited. Be it Haridwar, be it Jagannath Puri, be it Kaaba, be it Parvat Sumed, and he also visited Iraq. So you see, in all these areas, he was trying to get the good points of all the religions so that we can make the individual aware about the responsibilities, the social responsibility that one owns to one's society. So we find that 550th year, and in this, we find that this 550th year has come, it's a kind of revelation, because the times were really, during his time we find that Guru Nanak's times, he in fact criticized the ruling class, Rajeshi Mukaddam Kutte. He calls them the people who are atrocious, who are tyrannical in their nature. He calls them any names, and he calls them to improve their ways so that they can be brought to the service of the society. And let me tell you, I will read a stanza which I have translated. He says that the dark times are like a knife, and the kings are the butchers. Goodness has taken wings and flown in the dark nights of falsehood. The moon of the truth is nowhere to be seen. Now, he is explaining the state of affair of the society at that time. And in this time, we find that Guru Nanak Sahib, explains the bountiness of nature. When he goes to Jagatpur, he explains the concept of Aarti. What is Aarti in India? Aarti, we worship either the god or some gods or goddesses for the achievement of certain objectives. Guru Nanak goes to Jagannath Puri, he joins the priests there, and they asked him to join in the Aarti. He joins, but he remains, he does not perform that Aarti. He says, when you were performing the Aarti, I saw something different. And that was these stars, the moon and the stars, they are the lights of that God. Gagan mein thal rav chand bane deep. He explained this concept of Aarti to them, that if you really want to be thankful to anybody, be thankful to God and improve your thought process so that you can serve the society in the real sense. And this is the time when we find that this great spiritual master comes to the earth, and he does not consider himself to be, any supernatural power. He assumes the form of a guru so that he can interact with other people, and not merely this, he collects the compositions, the hymns of other great scholars also, like Baba Shri, Baba Namdev, Bhagat Kabir. He collects their Bani. That means even before Guru Nanak Sahib, there were people who made attempt. All these were for instance, Baba Farid from Pakpatan, he was a renowned Sufi poet, a renowned social reformer, a person totally devoted to God. He collects his Bani. And later on we find that Guru Arjan Dev Sahib selects those portions which he finds have the message for the mankind. So we find that this is the period of darkness when Guru Nanak Sahib comes and he tries to bring about improvement in our society. Allama Iqbal says that it was Guru Nanak who enlightened India on the idea of oneness of God. फिर उठी आखिर सदा तौहीद की पंजाब से, हिंद को एक मर्दे कामल ने जगाया ख्वाब से. I will come to the next basic principle which Guru Nanak propounded like anything, and that was the principle of equality. He defines the principles of Quran. He defines the principles of Vedas. That how, Quran has some basic inherent essential points which every individual should observe. He tells what a true Muslim should do, how he should pray, and he explains the concept of all the Panj Namaz, 5 namaz that a Muslim is supposed to observe. And also, at the same time, he tells, in his early childhood, he tells the Brahmin who comes to put Janevu around his neck, that if you have, kindly give me the cotton of, compassion and contentment, through which you should bring about changes in the minds of the people, not a Janevu just which does not last, or which lasts for only small. So, these are the very revolutionary ideas which Guru Nanak Sahib was giving. He talks about the equality, and this equality, he does not restrict only to the people belonging to the different religions. He talks about, he stands with the downtrodden in the society. Nicha andar nicha, nichi hu achnit. He says that I stand with the lowest. I identify myself with the lowest. When Malik Pago, questions him in Pai Lalo's, when he visits Pai Lalo's house. And he defines the Gurmukh, the person who is a servant, who is God-oriented, and Manmukh, who is self-centered. So we find that, and also you see on this other side, we find that Guru Nanak Sahib is very much concerned about the plight of the woman. He is also concerned about this, that the society should give equal status to the woman, and we find that even today these problems are there, and we need to find answers to these. I will not go beyond this. I will only, explain the final concept, which I think he has relevance for the modern times, and that is what is most important for all of us as individuals. We all know that Guru Nanak was not a mystic separated from the concerns of contemporary life. He was a great spiritual master as a visionary with a revolutionary zeal. His thoughts and philosophy is reflected in the current international discourses on climate change and threats to the human livelihood. Guru Nanak's concept of truthful life based on selfless service and cooperation can be a response to such contemporary conflicts. And the main challenge before scholars and the policymakers is to find solutions using these hymns, this rich source which can promote universal brotherhood. Celebrating 550th birth anniversary of Guru Nanak Dev Ji offers us a great opportunity to understand his life and legacy on the one side and promote healthy social, ethical, universal relations on the other. I am grateful that our esteemed ambassador invited me for sharing my views, and I am also grateful to all the organizers led by Sardar Karanjit Singh Ji, who gave us the opportunity to come and share your thoughts with them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Jaswinder Singh. Now I call upon Dr. Harpreet Kaur, Principal of Mata Sundari College of Women, University of Delhi, to deliver her talk on Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji.
Your Excellency, Shri Manu Mahavarji, Punjabi Wing ISC, Gurudwara Prabndhak Committee, Muscat, Sardar Karanjit Singh and others, and Dr. S.L. Gupta, who was a part of our previous college, Dr. Jaswinder Singh, who has accompanied me from Delhi, and all the dignitaries present in this hall, and my dear students. Dr. Jaswinder Singh has given the crux of Guru Nanak Dev Ji's philosophy. I would just confine my presentation to Guru Nanak Dev Ji's life at Kartarpur Sahib, where he lived for 18 long years. I will include the philosophy of Guru Nanak Dev Ji and also some anecdotes, very interesting anecdotes, and also all the entire thing that how Guru lived there and what is the relevance in the present times. So I start with this presentation of mine with the introduction that this is a model community at Kartarpur Sahib, a model community which we can look forward to and which we should imbibe in the present times. Guru Nanak Dev Ji can be placed on a higher pedestal amongst all the religious reformers present at that time because he actually outlined the principles of humanity. He traveled across and humanity which was under the spell of inequalities and superstitions, he challenged those superstitions and outlined basic principles of humanity. His religious and social economic philosophy charted a new course for the entire humanity. Bhai Gurdas calls him guide of the people of the world. Jahar Veer Jagat Guru Baba. Guru Nanak Dev Ji outlined certain practical formulas, certain social economic formulas of life which were firmly based on spirituality. After travels, he led a householder's life at Kartarpur Sahib, which was his last abode. He outlined an ideal society, a model society, where the cardinal principles of community life were elucidated. Religious principles and codes helped the community to be grounded on values and morals. And this model community, if we imbibe today, will be helpful in solving a lot of the problems which are having at the present times. Next slide, please. Guru Nanak Dev Ji's ideal society was sort of it was an inclusive society. For those times not only those times when Guru Nanak Dev Ji had taken avatar, but also for the times to come, the present times and the future as well. He ushered in a new epoch, and the whole world was its base. Guru Nanak Dev Ji embarked on missionary tours or udasis, and he visited the strongholds of religions. Now it is very, very interesting to note that Guru Nanak Dev Ji talked to the Siddhas at Achal Batala fair, where a fair was being organized. And this fair was being organized means all the Siddhas from, were collected there, and Guru Nanak Dev Ji actually questioned them that they are running away from the society, which is very incorrect. If he went to Mecca, he told that God is omnipresent. If he went to Hardwar, he is challenged there that what is happening was incorrect, and giving water would not reach to the ancestors. So that is questioning the redundant traditions in all the faiths. And he pronounced new precepts, again I emphasize, which was based on human principles. He had dialogues. He had dialogues with people with different dispositions, different dimensions. There were emperors, kings, religious men. Religious men, you can say there were Pandits, there were mullahs, there were Siddhas, Nath, there were Buddhists, there were Jainis, so belonging to all faiths. Now the formula given by Guru Nanak Dev Ji is so relevant to us because he talks about individual emancipation. That is today we want that self-realization in life is most important, individual excellence, and also emancipation in the other world. But enlightened individuals comprise an enlightened society, and in this way, a model community was outlined by Guru Nanak Dev Ji at Kartarpur Sahib. Next slide, please. Now, how Kartarpur Sahib was established? At the end of Udasis, Guru Nanak Dev Ji organized his faith and community of Sikhism in new place of domicile, which is known as Kartarpur Sahib, that is, abode of God, where God resides. This was founded on the first missionary tour, which is 60 miles from Lahore. Bhai Gurdas says, Guru came to Kartarpur and put on worldly dress. He established his seat to preach his gospel. Finich, a writer, approximately gives the age of Guru Nanak Dev Ji here and says that somewhat 70 years he mentions. Now, this is an interesting anecdote where millionaire Khatri, Dhuni Chand, he donated 100 acres of land on the Ravi banks to establish a dharamsal. And Guru announced this Shabad that Sham is king, Sham are the subjects, and Sham is the entire world. Followers from far-off regions came and joined here. Guru Nanak Dev Ji had visited a lot of people, and those people who were actually following Guru came and visited Guru and also settled down here. Now this village, tiny village, grew in size and importance. But Guru Nanak Dev Ji was so far-sighted that he understood that traders and merchants had to be invited if the village has to grow in size and importance. And that is why he invited a lot of people to settle down here and open their works there. He lived here for 18 long years till he left for the heavenly abode. Kirat Karo, Vanchako, and Naam Jako was to build an all-embracing and all-inclusive society was elucidated here and practiced here. Religious ideas were translated into practice of an active life of a person. Conventions that are integral to Sikh creed were experimented and stabilized here, and a model community has a lasting significance till date. Next slide. Now, what was the difference here? That it was a changed way of life at Kartarpur Sahib. He emphasized on householder life. Earlier, Baba Nanak was there dressed as an attire of sadhu. He was going through jungles, he was passing through mountains, he also traveled through ship, but he was attired in this vesh of sadhu. And now this previous attire of sadhu was shed, and he donned the clothes akin to a Punjabi farmer. Now this altered attire also corresponded to a changed way of life. So labor with hands was most important here. He did farming to support the family needs. This was very significant in an era because people had a large tract of lands. Kshatriyas and Rajputs, they had large lands, but they were not interested in farming. They had quit farming. So people had, and householders, how people were not living in householders, they were running away in jungles, and society was becoming a very lethargic place. So that is why it is very significant, this change was very significant, that you have to work. And so Baba Nanak would commence his daily schedule of tilling of land, chanting of mantras, and chanting of the Bani, and after that he would do the tilling of land. So he lived a householder life. His two wife, Guru Mahal Mata Sulakni ji, and two sons came and joined Baba Nanak here. And also old parents of Baba Nanak and Bhai Mardana also came and settled down here. Now, Kirat Karo has been a formula, a social economic formula elucidated by Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and he glorified peasantry here. That is, that you have to labor with hands or livelihood by engaging in creative works. According to Guru Nanak, each vocation is a sacred activity, hence an act of worship. Initially, Baba Nanak took up this caste-based profession of shopkeeper, but fairness in dealings was paramount for him. At Modi Khana, he earned his bread honestly and reflected love for the needy. At Kartarpur Sahib, he took to the vocation of farming. Grains grown here were used for langar. Visitors were served from the community kitchen, prepared from the food grains grown by Baba Nanak and his followers. Now this is again reassertion of agriculture in an era where people were drifting away from it, and that is why Punjab today is a bowl of grains today. Next, please. Now this another aspect of the social economic formula was langar, that is one chako, and that found expression in this episode of True Bargain, where with 20 rupees, Guru Nanak Dev Ji served provisions to the needy outside, people living outside, the sadhus living outside. This impacted the Guru's divine mission at Kartarpur Sahib, and it's continuing till date. Cultivation in field would cater to the community kitchen, and this concept of langar became Guru Ka Langar, where this concept of Sangat and Pangat also was being outlined and being practiced. Everyone, irrespective of the distinction high, low, men, women, they would share a common meal on a common platform. Guru Mahal's Mata Sulakni ji and other women would prepare and distribute langar. This was actual practical manifestation of equality, dissipating caste system, and reiterating that all are born from one God. This society at Kartarpur Sahib was based on fatherhood of God, belief in one God. Islam and Christianity all believe in one God, who is the creator and sustainer of all alike. Guru Nanak's vision of primal being erases all differences and sets everyone on a similar pedestal. This idea of God is formless, supreme, and absolute power. Human knowledge of this divine truth can never be perfect. All through his Banis, Japji Sahib, Asadivar, Soile, and in Mool Mantra especially, divine is symbolized as a Purukh, who is creator, who is doer. Now God, according to him, is Sarab Shaktiman, Sarab Samrat, Sarab Vyapak, and Sarab Rupi. and everything has originated from the God. Ekas te sab utpat hoye. And so Naam Japo, devotion of God, is imperative. Large gathering would listen to the Shabad recital. This was a new form of congregational worship where to the Guru, leaving his pilgrimage route. Next, please. Now, these are two pictures. The picture on first this side, Guru Nanak Dev Ji himself approached Bhai Lena, and before going, he also declared in the Sangat that he would return back with his successor. Now, desirous of having glimpse of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Bhai Lena is asking about the address. Now, after reaching the destination, because Bhai Lena was sitting in his horse and Guru Nanak Dev Ji were walking, and when they reached the destination, Bhai Lena Ji realized that he has asked the address from Guru himself. He was very apologetic for his behavior. Next slide. Bhai Lena Ji initially lived at Khadur Sahib, and later on he shifted in the holy company of Guru. There were deep dialogues between them. Bhai Lena Ji used to put question that why a particular verse has been composed, what is the meaning of it, and in which rag it should be sung. Bhai Lena Ji also collected Guru Nanak's poetry in the written form. Till this time, Punjabi was just a spoken language and did not have any script, and Shamiki was popular at that time. Lena Ji devised Gurmukhi script to preserve Guru's priceless words. Bhai Lena Ji's unflinching loyalty was put to test many times, but every time he emerged successful through his patience, through his diligence. Next slide, please. Now, in this, Bhai Lena Ji is bringing out a fallen bowl from the pit, whereas the sons, they refused because to this odd job because it would spoil their clothes. But Bhai Lena Ji used to submit to all the directives of Guru. Next slide, please. Now, this was the daily routine of Bhai Lena Ji, that he used to wash the clothes of Guru Nanak Dev Ji on the banks of river Ravi at the night time. In the next picture, the second picture, Guru Nanak Dev Ji is submerged in deep meditation, and he went inside the water, remained there for a very, very long time. But Bhai Lena Ji was protecting his clothes in a deep downpour also. And despite that he had fallen sick and he was running high fever, but he refused to move from there. When Guru Nanak Dev Ji came out, he took him in his embrace, and then that soothing touch healed him. Next slide. Now, this was the final test, very cumbersome test as per the anecdotes, that even Bhai Lena Ji was asked to eat this corpse and dead body which was lying at the cremation ground. And Bhai Lena Ji rather asked that from which side I should begin. But it was the Guru which emerged from there. So that submission, complete submission, is exhibited in this. Next. This is Guru Nanak Dev Ji blessing Guru Angad Dev Ji with Gudagardi. Baba Buddha Ji, he applied a saffron tilak on the head after this. 5 copper coins and coconut was put in the hands of Guru Angad by Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and Guru Nanak Dev Ji bowed before Guru Angad Dev Ji, laying this tradition of Ape Gurchela that we see in Khalsa, creation of Khalsa at the time of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Now this pothi or this booklet containing the celestial Bani and hymns was handed over to Guru Angad Dev Ji, and Guru Angad Dev Ji was asked to move to Khadur Sahib, and also said that Ragi should go with him. Balwant Rababi tum sang jave, samay samay har kirtan gave. Guruji sat under a tree. He pronounced a composition, Prab Karan Karan Samratha Ram. Guru Nanak Dev Ji implored the gathering or congregation to chant Sohela, and as the hymn was over, Guru left for the heavenly abode. This society had an exalted position of the women in society. Dr. Jaswinder Singh has outlined that how piteous position of women was there at that time, but Guru Nanak Dev Ji gave an exalted position to them. Nari Purukh Sabai Loi. There is one light of God in all, whether men or women. He also now Mata Sulakshmi Ji, there was complete equality in the family. You see in this picture, you can see that Pailana Ji is carrying a wet bundle of grass. This is soaked in mud, and this was spoiling the rich clothes of Pailana Ji, which was not liked by Mata Sulakshmi Ji because Pailana Ji was the guest. And she is actually asking Guru that why this is why this kind of a treatment is being given to the guest. So the complete equality is there in the first basic unit, that is the family. Also that Mata Sulakshmi Ji also distributed langar and also implored other women of the society or the community to do the same. Now, of course, we all have heard this, that there was disagreement on the last mortal remains of the Guru, which was very, very settled very amicably. But what is very awe-inspiring is that during his entire life, Guru Nanak Dev Ji said he challenged the redundant traditions, whether they belong to Islam or Hindu. But after his death, there was fight amongst those members that he is our Guru. So that is actually most awe-inspiring, that where he is questioning the redundant traditions, but the same community says, no, he is our Guru. So Guru Nanak Naam Leva today are also from various religions, and this legacy continues till date. Next. Now this Gurudwara at Shri Darbar Sahib, Kartarpur Sahib, it is situated in the Narwal district on the western banks of River Ravi, and people visit with profound reverence. Samadhi of Guru and the nearby town was washed away in the swelling floods of River Ravi. Maharaja of Patiala, Sardar Bhupender Singh, saved Sikh shrine in 1870 by erecting a bandh, because Ravi used to change the course various times and there were flooding very, very often. The original building was flooded again many years back. In 1911-12, Lala Shamdas built the present Gurudwara, which was reinforced in 1920s and 1995 by the government of Pakistan. Now this new building was inaugurated in 2001. Now this has got its dome structure is there. There are reflections of architecture of both Islamic architecture and Hindu architecture. There's a combination of both, and there is a circumambulatory passage around it. Now this is a unique, this Gurudwara is unique because Hindus have built a Samadhi, Muslims have built a tomb, and Sikhs have built a Gurudwara there. Next slide, please. These are the majestic arches of Gurudwara Sahib. This is the history which is written there, and the walls which are very, very deep and there. Next. And it is believed that the grave on one side of shrine next to Guru's Samadhis of Bhai Mardana, but Bhai Mardana had refused that to be confined in any memorial. He said to Baba Nanak, no, I don't want to be confined in any memorial. This was his last wish rather. Next, please. Now there is, we can find this well was found only 5 to 6 years back, and it has got water only at 5 to 6 feet. It is said that there are 3 wells there. One has this plaque written on it, that this was the well that was used by Guru Nanak to water his fields. The second well was for the household use, the water was there, and the third well was for preparing langar and for drinking, etc. Next, please. Now this photograph is of an airplane missile, which was, now this, you see the belief is, belief of Nanak is beyond any boundaries. Now, what is written is the Portuguese itself, that, this is showcased in a glass case, But Indian Army had dropped this missile in 1971, and the local believes that it is miracle of Baba Nanak that this did not explode and there was no harm because it fell into the well. Now, Harun Khalid has written a very beautiful book. It's a fiction, Walking with Nanak, and he says that boundaries are fluid and man-made, and Radcliffe, if he had made some mistake or his hand would have shaken, then, Kartarpur Sahib would have been India, and a lot of activity would have gone because this Gurudwara was closed for many, many years. Now we are talking about Kartarpur Sahib corridor also, opening of this corridor. If you open up, then this, short distance of 3-4 kilometers would be spanned, but after 70 long years. These are the pictures of school children also visiting there. Next slide. So, sum up that Kartarpur Sahib can be said as the first headquarters where principles of Sikhi were laid in practice. The desired value of desired ideal society were translated into practice. Structured ethics was there, and structured ethics for individual as well as society were outlined by Guru Nanak here. Life of person was individually based on ethical values, and collectively they were made responsible by creating a conducive society with Kirat Karo, Vanchako and Naam Japo. This model society at Kartarpur was all-inclusive, all-embracing, and benefit of humanity at large was taken into consideration here. All shades of opinion in fabric of a civil society was represented very well. Tolerance, empathy, which is exemplar for multi-religious and modern pluralist society, which we are looking for, which we are striving for, was manifested here. So Baba Nanak gave message for all people, for all times. And today, when we are celebrating 550th birth anniversary with this fervor, I think we should look to the model society, what was created by Guru Nanak at Kartarpur Sahib, and many of our problems which are here in the society would be solved automatically. So, Guru Nanak Shah Fakir, Hindu ka Guru, Musalman ka Peer. Thank you.
I now request Ambassador Mr. Karanjeet Mataru and members of Punjabi wing of Indian Social Club to come to the dais for presentation of memento. This Dr. Jaswinder Singh and Dr. Harpreet Kaur. I request Mr. Ahmad Khamis Masood Al-Bahri to kindly come on stage. Thank you. I now invite Mr. Paramjeet Singh, co-convener Punjabi wing of Indian Social Club, to propose the vote of thanks.
अवल अल्लाह, अवल अल्लाह, अवल अल्लाह नूर पाया, कुदरत के सब बंदे, एक नूर ते सब जग पूजिया, कौन परे कौन बंदे। डॉक्टर साहब ने जिक्र किया है अल्लामा इकबाल दा कि फिर उठी आखिरी सदा, तौहीद की पंजाब से हिंद को एक मर्दे काबल ने जगाया अखबार से। उन्होंने कोई और बहुत खूबसूरत किया, चिश्ती ने मोहम्मद ने जिस ज़मीन पर पैगाम हक सुनाया, नानक ने उस चमन में वहदत का गीत गाया। और भी खूबसूरत किया उन्होंने, कहता अल्लाह की सुगंध है, अल्लाह की सुगंध है, रब की कसम है, अल्लाह की सुगंध है, रब की कसम है, ऐ मेरे नानक तुम्हारी तारीफ जितनी हो वो तारीफें कम है। His Excellency Munawar Sheikh Ahmed Al-Bari, Veer Karanjit, Khan Sahab, those मित्र brothers sisters, मैं सब नूं सत श्री अकाल, सलाम अलैकुम कहना, वेलकम कहना, पंजाबी विंग वालों, गुरुद्वारा कमेटी वालों, एम्बेसडर साहब वालों। I have a conversion of Quran. With the grace of Allah, I have 17 books of Islam in my house. I was reading one where, say when Allah is happy on you, He always gives you good friends. Allah is happy on you, He always gives you good friends. So I think Allah is happy on us, Nanak is happy on us, we got all great people. In standing of great personality, His Excellency, Sheikh Ahmed Al-Bari, Dr. Sahab, Sundar Singh, Pen, Harpreet Kaur, we feel lucky, and I am feeling that all my teachers and I am a student, I am a learner. Guru Nanak say one thing, Nive Sagara Hoy. Nive Sagara Hoy means that is a humbleness. You go slowly, sometimes people will insult you. If you have patience to listen, one day you will be winner. You will be definitely winner. Nive Sagara Hoy means God positive point when you will come to your body and heart. Wherever you go, people will salam you. Years when I spent in Oman, I don't know whether I'm sitting with Muslim brothers or Hindu brothers or Christian brothers. I just feel that I blessed God people and I'm part of that society. When I spent 30 years in Oman, not a single Omani say me Sardar, Sardarji, Sardarji, Sardarji. When I Sheikh Ahmed, I learned a lot of things from Sheikh Ahmed. And when myself, by Karanjit committee, we goes to Akaf for our small problems, Gurudwaras. He say welcome. He cheers with hugs. Come on, have a khajur, have a kawa, eat, drink. Wallahi, sometimes he's angry, why you came too late? He's an Allah blessed man. I pray for him. Allah gave him good health, more wealth, happiness and prosperity to him and to his family. So 30 years passed in Oman. I think how has passed? When I read Guru Nanak, Mardana asked one day, Nanak, I spent 30, 40 years with you. I couldn't understand. I'm a Muslim. And from poor caste, very poor man. Nanak, you are Hindu, upper caste, Hindu caste, Kshatri. How our relations together? Spent 30 years, no fight, no arguments. You speak, Bani aayi hai, Rabab che. What is my relation with you? Then Nanak say, Mardana, you say I'm a Muslim, you are a Muslim, I'm a Hindu, spend 30 years, 40 years. After the journey, where we go? After finishing this journey, where we go? He said, we will go to Rabb. He said, Allah, Rabb. He said, I will also go there, you will also go there. And there is no boundaries there, you are a Muslim, I'm a Hindu, you're this. After die, nobody knows. He said, then what we are brothers, not gurus. So the kya si ਅਸੀਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਮਰਦਾਨਿਆਂ ਵਰ ਦੇਨੇ ਆ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਤੱਕ ਲੋਕੀ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਭਾਈ ਮਰਦਾਨੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਨਗੇ. People will remember you, brother Bhai Mardana. That's our history. So I pray to Almighty God, Almighty Allah, we say Sat Sri Akal. What is Islam? Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Same, I was reading a small, Muhammad was crossing one road. One lady was throwing kachara. One day she didn't throw kachara. Muhammad knocked the door. Servant came. He said, one lady is throwing kachara on me. Where is she? Says, sir, she is not well today. She is physically not well today. He asked water, he washed hand. He said, Allah Ta'ala, the lady was throwing kachara on me. Before she was mentally not fit. Today she is physically not fit. Please pardon this lady. That was Islam. To pardon each other. To pardon each other. So thank you very much for the audience. I don't have any good word to appreciate His Excellencies. जिन्होंने सानू हिम्मत दी हौसला दिता असी इन्हां दे हौसले दे सदके मैं प्रे करदा इंडियन गवर्नमेंट नू परमात्मा दे अगे भी इहो जे इन्वेस्टर वाहिगुरू जिथे जिथे इंडिया च एम्बेसियां बैठियां ने इहो जे इन्वेस्टर उत्थे भेजे आखिर विच जिन्हां ने साडी हौसला अफजाई कीती है उन्हां दा मैं नाम जरूर लवांगा मस्कर फार्मेसी ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਸ਼ੁਕਰਗੁਜ਼ਾਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਿਰਫ ਕਦੇ ਇਨਕਾਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਭਾਈ ਕਰਨਜੀਤ ਦੀ ਗ੍ਰੇਟ ਐਫਰਟ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਫੋਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੀਤਾ PLS and 2-3 more companies that I forget the names so I pray for all of them ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਰਹੋ ਹਿੰਮਤ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਰਹੋ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਹਿੰਮਤ ਤੇ ਹੌਸਲਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਕਰਜ਼ ਹੈ ਇੰਨਾ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਭੁੱਲਾਂ ਚੁੱਕਾ ਮਾਫ ਇਹ ਲੋਕ ਸੁਖੀਏ पर लोग सवेले बड़े प्यारा फतेह बुलाओ वाहिगुरू जी का खालसा वाहिगुरू जी की फतेह.
Ladies and gentlemen, with this we come to the end of our program. I thank you once again for joining us this evening. Thank you and good